I'm Mr. Mousavi. I'm 43 years old. I'm from the city of Kazvin. My job is being an Uber driver. I work until around 2 o'clock and so on. Then when I get home, I play PlayStation and stuff with my son.
All right, dear Mr. Mousavi, what happened?
In the year 2021, on the 9th of April, I got the COVID. It was a COVID illness. I was getting some perfusions as treatment, one shot in the morning and one at noon.
At home?
Yes, I went to the clinic and got the shot, then came home. They said I had pneumonia, but actually it was COVID. Turns out, the medicine they were giving me was actually making me feel worse and worse. I started feeling worse. It was exactly on Seyyed Bedar. My father-in-law and everyone were gathered together. We were all sitting down. At 5 in the afternoon, I saw that I was shivering. I was shaking. God, why am I shivering so much? And those days were my good days. I was really happy. We were all together. Everyone was there. I realized, actually, I'm really not feeling well. I'm sweating nonstop. I'm getting completely soaked. What illness is this? My grandfather came to the car with me. I asked if we could get some medicine together. He agreed. We sat down with my parents and got some cold medicine pills before we headed back. I said to my wife's father that I feel like I'm getting dizzy. I said, I don't know what kind of illness this is. I'm not feeling well at all. I realized I was cold. I pulled the blanket over myself. I put on my jacket. I pulled the blanket over again. My mouth kept getting dry. I was getting wet. My condition. I really wasn't feeling well at all. Then my wife came and said, Dad, what's wrong? I said, I don't know. I felt I was about to leave this world. I told my wife, could you not come into the room tonight? You and the kid go sleep in the other room. I really don't feel well. I mean, exactly at 4 in the morning, I saw it was still dark outside. I realized, God, I was drenched in sweat. I kept going toward the bathroom. I kept going toward the restroom. I felt like I had lost something. I kept pacing around the room and my wife asked, do you need anything? Honestly, I don't know. It's not under my control. I feel like something is happening. It's like my body is going numb. I feel like my life is slipping away. Come on, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know. I'm really not myself at all. She said, let me call my mom and my dad so they can come over. It's obvious you're not feeling well. My wife kissed me on the forehead and kept crying. I said, just take care of the kid, but I feel like I'm not going to make it.
It was the year 2021, during Seyyed Bedar. We were just at home. We were still in quarantine. Then my mom came over. My brother called and asked, why are you just sitting at home? We've been sitting at home for 2 years. It's not like it was with COVID anymore. So, because they insisted, we finally went and sat in the park. At the same time, we were in the park. He was peeling fruit for my dad, an orange for me. We just sat there and ate. After we left there, we had dinner at my mom's house that night. We saw he was feeling really bad. He said, I really don't feel well at all. We grabbed 3 or 4 blankets from my mom and covered him. He said his body was freezing. Me and my dad didn't take it serious at first. I said, what happened to you? He was just freezing. He said, felt awful. It's the end of my days. I won't see my 40th birthday, I said. I kept crying. I said, you are our only hope. Why are you acting like this? Then in the morning, around 4 a.m., he woke up and said, my heart hurts. These are my last days. It's not beating right. It's beating fast. I'm really not feeling well. Forgive me and all. I was crying. My son was sitting here, crying. I said, we can't just sit and do nothing, so I called the ambulance.
When the ambulance arrived, they said, we have to take him. Honestly, I didn't really like. I said, there's COVID in the ambulance. Honestly, I said, no, I'm not coming. I'll come in my own car. My brother came. He put me in his car and brought to Shohada Hospital. Right before the hospital, there's a roundabout, and when I got there, I felt like I was taking my last breaths. My face had turned black. Honestly, everything, whenever anyone talked to me, it was like, how can I put it? I heard sounds like this. They brought a wheelchair. I sat in it and saw everything spinning around me. I realized I was getting worse. They said, "Sir, we don't have space." The last thing I remember is that they put me on a kind of bed to hook me up to an EKG. After that, I didn't understand anything.
That was the moment when you couldn't see anything around you anymore.
I couldn't see anything anymore. I couldn't see anything as they were taking me into the ICU. My bed was moving me this way and other and bumping into different walls. There were knocks, bumping from side to side.
Then even the sound stopped.
Yes. After that, I didn't understand anything. The first thing I noticed was that I just saw clouds in front of me, right in front of my feet. I couldn't see anything else. There were no people around me anymore. I said, "Where is this place? What kind of area is this? I've never seen anything like this. Why is everything white? It's white below. It's white above. It's like I'm inside a cloud." There are two people standing next to me, but I can't see them.
You can't see them. You mean behind you?
Exactly behind me. I didn't have the permission or the courage to turn my head and look at them. For example, I couldn't turn my neck. There was one on the right side. On the left side, too. I couldn't see them. I could only look straight ahead.
How did you feel about those two?
My feeling was I had a good feeling. I felt good about them, but I was constantly worried. Then, for a moment, I saw myself lying down like this and someone was lying next to me. Then I looked over to that side, turned my head like this to look. I saw that this person was holding my hand. They were slowly squeezing it.
You mean a physical human being?
No, it looked like me.
Oh, I see.
It looked like me next to me, like me.
Was it much like you?
Exactly.
He looked like you?
Looked like me.
We can say there's two of you.
Yes.
One body that doesn't move. Its eyes are closed. And one.
That I myself am.
Another Seyyed Mousavi, eyes open.
Yes.
And it looked just like this body.
Yes.
The color, the clothes.
Everything was just like what I was wearing in the hospital.
I see.
I was wearing it like he was too.
Had hospital clothes like him.
Right.
But that body doesn't move. This one was moving.
Yes.
Did he say, "Give me your hand," or did he take it?
He was holding my hand.
Where he was lying. He held hand.
At that moment when he was holding my hand, he said, "It's obvious you're really confused." The guy sitting next to me on this side said, "Now I'm going to take you somewhere so you can really see this place, and then I'm going to see what you can say about it." The moment we entered Kazvin was the moment I saw my grandfather. He was where his own house was. I said, there were wooden beams and all that. I was looking at the wooden beams. I was looking at the walls. The rain was hitting the walls. I was starting to feel a bit of calm. It was like my feelings were slowly coming back. My grandfather said, "Come on." While we were walking, we were heading toward that cemetery. First, we reached a place where there were those hand-pumped wells. There are still some in Kazvin. It was at a shrine called Imamzada Ahmad and Mahmud. That hand pump, the one that brings up water, is still there. There might be no water anymore. My grandfather said, "Come, I need you." It was near a well. I looked toward the well. I saw my grandfather going in. He grabbed my hand and said, "Give me your hand. I need you for something. Let's go." He was trying to pull me down. He held my hand or grabbed it to pull me down. My chest scraped the well's edge. Because of the pain, I kept saying, "Granddad, I can't. Sorry, I can't come. My son is over there. My wife is there. I can't come." Then, while my chest was hurting like that, that's when I realized they were taking me away. Then, the moment my grandfather left the well, those two people took me toward a tunnel-like place. It was a tunnel. The floor was foggy, and there were strange rocks all around. The rocks were really odd, kind of brownish. I mean, it was clay soil.
This tunnel was made of stone and clay soil?
It was clay. Yes.
Was it bright?
Misty brightness. It was like fog.
Foggy?
Yes, like a cloud. There was a mass of cloud inside.
Clouds?
Yes.
What about the end of it?
The end was just cloud. I just kept walking like that.
How did you feel inside this tunnel?
I felt a bit of peace inside it. But I was also anxious, you know.
Was the anxiety stronger or the sense of peace?
It was mostly anxiety.
More anxiety? Yeah?
What's going to happen? What's happening to me?
Right.
Then, as I kept going forward, I came across a person who, I saw was looking at me with a really strange look. He said, this way. He gestured like this. He asked, do you know him?
Was this still inside the tunnel?
Yes. He was standing right there inside the tunnel. It was like, you come up to someone. Do you know that person? He asked me. This guy, I used to change his oil for him. Yeah, I remember, but he didn't say anything, just with his eyes. Like everyone, what I'm saying is, we were all just looking at each other, communicating with our eyes. At the moment when I saw this guy, the man, his name was Mr. Seyyed. I had sold him oil before.
Well, for what?
I had given him motor oil. The oil wasn't good quality. For example, the price wasn't that great either. I sold double the price. Then, this poor guy's engine burned out. He came back to complain. He said, my engine is like this now. It's burned out and I'm not happy about it. I leave you to the God you worship.
So you mean, not only did you overcharge him for the oil, but you also sold him bad oil?
The oil was expired.
Expired oil. And on top of that, at a high price, and it caused the car's engine to burn out.
Yes.
He said, I won't forgive you.
Yes, and that's how it went, and I was shown this scene. The poor guy had passed away. He showed me and shook his head, and I kept wanting to ask for forgiveness, but I couldn't. In that world, I wouldn't allow myself because of the kind of person I had been. He said, let's go, there's more. I will show you your other actions too.
Do you want to ask for forgiveness? Would you like to ask for forgiveness now?
Yes.
Because his family is considered his heirs. They're probably watching the program right now.
Yes.
Well, you can speak to the camera in front of you, if you like.
I'm truly willing to go and kiss their hands and the hands of his family. I'm ready to do anything they ask of me. Forgiveness, I want their forgiveness. I want to ask for their forgiveness, even if it costs me my life. I'll do anything for them.
Can you please say the name and last name of this family?
Their last name is Ibrahim Seyyed. He passed away.
The respected family of the late Ibrahim Seyyed. You heard and understood his story. Please send a message to the program so that he can get in touch with you to make amends and ask for your forgiveness. I kindly asked you to seriously follow up on this matter. Whenever such cases come up on the show, we connect the person seeking forgiveness with those who need to grant it. Sometimes this matter is followed up and reaches a conclusion. Sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes we are still pursuing it. Please try to resolve this as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Then we got to the second person. I saw it was an elderly man. He was also looking at me with a lot of sadness and anger, and he said, do you know this person? I said, yes. This is Mr. Mousavi.
What's his first name?
Hassan Mousavi. That poor guy actually had two names. One is his official name on his birth certificate, Hassan Mousavi. I looked at him and said, Hajj Hassan, just with our looks, with our eyes. I saw that he wasn't paying any attention to me at all.
So there were no words exchanged between you two?
No words, just looks. We were talking with our eyes.
With your lips closed?
Yes, we spoke with our eyes. We weren't even allowed to speak out loud. With our eyes, we said everything. We could communicate with just eyes looking at each other. You get what they were saying? As if we were talking.
No words.
Exactly. I glanced at him, and the old guy looked back at me, shook his head with frustration and anger, and I asked, "Is that all?" He would shake his head like that, and I would just look at him. Every time he shook his head like that, my heart would sink. I just kept feeling more and more upset.
Why?
I just kept getting more upset. I said, "God, what's going on? I am repaying something. Is there something I need to give up? What are you doing to me?" These scenes just keep playing out in front of me. I looked at him, and he looked back at me, but he didn't forgive me. He lowered his head and said, "This is the second one."
Did this person pass away too?
Yes, he passed away too. Yes, he passed away as well.
Do you want to ask his family for forgiveness too?
Yes, but I know they won't forgive me.
Why? What was the issue?
The issue with that old guy was that when I changed his car oil, I was supposed to change his gear oil too. But I didn't change the gear oil. I told him I had changed it. The money I took from him, well, that's the truth. The money I took from him, at that moment, I was happy. I said, well, I took a shot at this. It felt pretty good. But I didn't realize that later, in my life review. I mean, that feeling when I saw him. Then he looked me right in the eyes. I thought, oh man, Hassan, what did you do? Then 2 days later, he came and said, "Seyyed, are you really a Seyyed?" I said, "How?" He said, "Why didn't you change my gear oil?" Took it elsewhere for checking. Gear oil wasn't changed. I said I haven't. Couldn't do it. It was during my lunch break. I just couldn't do it, and you came quickly to pick up the car. I had to hand it over, but I'm willing to pay you for the damage. He said, "This bread you are eating is not good bread. I won't forgive you." Then, the old guy passed away, but I'm willing, right here on camera, just like the other man. Just like with the first one, I want to ask for forgiveness from him. I'm willing to give him my life, my whole existence, if that's what it takes for him to forgive me.
Sometimes we have guests like you who come here. Of course, you are actually the host here.
Thank you.
They come here and want to make amends, to seek forgiveness from certain people for past wrongs. Some of them follow up themselves when they send us a message for the show. That person then comes forward. They follow up and resolve the issue. Sometimes it takes a while for that forgiveness to happen or for them to pay back what they owe. For some people, it takes a really long time, and it just keeps dragging on.
Yes.
We even have cases from last year where someone promised to pay back the money they owed. That still hasn't happened yet. I ask that you please follow up on this. And if this respected family, the family of the late Mouaini,
Yes, Hassan Mouaini.
the late Hassan Mouaini, his respected family, if they could reach out and address the issue between them and
Yeah.
your honorable father, please either resolve it, forgive it, or claim your right. The right that has now been inherited from your father. Let's take a short break and come back.
Mr. Mouaini's house was over there. He had built this very unit. The building was exactly there. That was his house. It was the same Mr. Mouaini I told you about, the one I sold oil to. Right here, as you can see now. This was my shop. I'll show you now. Next to it is the automatic specialty repair shop. It says parts manufacturing. That used to be my shop. From this point on, I caught COVID and went off from this place. This was my shop. This was my place of business. My shop was here for 22 years. I had an oil change shop. I was an old-timer here. Then, all those scenes from my childhood up until now. They showed me everything from start to finish in the same light.
At the speed of light.
Really at the speed of light.
Did that speed make it hard for you to notice things?
That,
Even though it was fast, you still understood everything clearly?
that.
So your life was reviewed for you? What things do you remember?
My childhood, back when I was 6 months old. I was in the shrine of Imam Reza in my father's arms. The moment my father held me in his arms, just a moment, it was just a moment. I was being playful. I slipped, nearly fell onto the sharp edge of a stone. At that moment, my father said, "Oh, Imam Reza." He grabbed me by my legs. He caught me by my legs. I was literally suspended in the air.
You were 6 months?
Yep,
So you saw a scene like that there?
yep.
Did you know about something like this before at all?
No, not at all.
So it was the first time you were just finding out about it?
Yes, I saw that scene.
I don't even remember this at all myself. I really had forgot it myself. Now that you mention it, I remember. I hadn't told him about it. But yes, that's the truth. I'm actually surprised how he saw this. Only his mother knew. He was just a child. Yes, we went to the Imam Reza shrine with his mother next to the house roof. Back then there was one pool there. He suddenly started crying and turned around. In an instant it slipped from my arms like a fish. "Oh, Imam Reza," I said. I caught him right there in midair, between the ground and the sky. If he hit the edge of the stone, he would have been gone. A 6 or 7-month-old baby, it's just unbelievable to think he could even remember it, or even understand that such a thing happened. I think it was only God's doing. It was a mom's hands that reached out there.
A scene that shows my father's youth, and that very scene that was being replayed. A scene of my father when he was young, working with a tractor.
With what?
With a tractor.
I see.
He's working in the field. It shows him in his youth.
I had a good father.
Bless him, he's gone.
We had a farm. I used to work with him.
Yes, he had a tractor. The tractor belonged to my father. I used to work with him.
Then I saw him at the battlefield. At the front, there were places where mortars would explode. He was holding a martyr in his arms, confiding in him, pouring his heart out. I could clearly see the same.
So, these were scenes from your father's life that you weren't even there for. They showed you those as well.
Yes, I saw was my father at the battlefield. The person who had been martyred, named Seyyed Ali Will, was in his arm confessing. All his clothes were covered in blood. I saw that scene clearly. He was hugging him, with tears streaming from his eyes.
The interesting thing is, he had never told his father that he had seen something like this there. Not until we arrived for the interview. And the father was confronted with it for the first time. Even though he had witnessed his father's private moment with the memory of his comrade's martyrdom. And, well, the father was deeply moved.
Yes, exactly. He felt really unwell.
What he is saying is hard to believe. He saw these in another world. During the war, a lot of my friends were killed, such as this Gazam Ali who he saw. He was damaged from mortar attacks. A lot of our friends were martyred. A whole lot. People often talk about front lines. If only you knew what happened there. I hadn't tell anyone about this. No one. I mean right now, something just hit me again. Thinking about what happened to my son, he definitely seen some things. He went and came back.
The scenes they showed me. when I was 10 years old. Me and my cousins, there were 3 of us in total. We had an old aunt. So this old aunt had a chest where she kept her old things. We came across a lock, one of those really old locks that, like.
The black ones. Yeah, the kind that turns like this.
Complicated keys.
It was really old, yeah. We used to mess around with it. We would open it up. Inside there were old eggs and antique items. Then there was a chest of gold. It was really old. It had green stuff growing around it. It was rusted. Then I looked and saw the edge was sharp. As I was touching, I got a bruise. My hand got just a small scratch. I got angry because of that. All of a sudden, I threw it into the neighbor's house. Well, I was a kid. The other kids came and took the eggs. Our boys came for the trays. The tray was really old. We did this when we were 10. We used to call her Auntie Tala. My dad had an aunt called Tala. That's what we called her. She was upset about this, and I'd look at her and ask, "Auntie, why are you upset with my eyes?" She said, "The thing you threw back then, that was part of my dowry from my husband." "Why did you throw it?" "That was my only keepsake. It was a memento from my husband." "Why did you do that?"
You didn't know?
I really didn't know. I had no idea. Right then, she cursed me. She really cursed me. In that moment, in that scene I saw, I could tell she was upset with me. "I won't forgive you. Whatever bad things God has for me, may they come upon you. Yeah, may disaster fall on you."
How did that make you feel?
A really bad feeling. A really terrible feeling. I was being mischievous. I had acted out. But right there, they showed me the scene. My hands and feet were trembling. I felt sick. I kept getting dizzy. I kept feeling like I was losing my breath. When they showed me those scenes, it was like they were replaying them for me. It was like a tape.
The incident with your aunt, the one you threw a tray and didn't forgive. Since that experience, have you done anything for her?
No, I haven't. Because she had already passed away, and there was nothing I could do.
You never thought about how you could make it up to her?
Actually, I have. My wife can even confirm it. Every time I visit her grave, even last week when we were in Kazvin, I always go to her grave. In my heart, I quietly ask for her forgiveness, because it's just between me and her. They showed me that scene. Every time I go to her grave, my wife is here. She can confirm it. I go to her grave and recite Fatiha for her. I ask for her forgiveness.
Ask also the people who are experts about what can be done more.
Yes, of course. Then, those people who were next to me, on my left and right. While we were walking through the tunnel.
Were you walking or not? Was it in a different way? Were you on the ground or above?
It was as if we were walking on clouds. We couldn't see ground. There was fog above and below us. There was fog above us too. It's like the fog just ends at some point. Then you see other scenes. That's how it was. At least, that's how it was for me. It's a tunnel. Look, inside it's a tunnel. Look, there was a tunnel. How should I put it? The light, for example, the light was at the end of the tunnel and at the entrance. You could only see the light at the end of the tunnel. But the people who were inside, let me see, how do I explain this? It's like the ceiling had holes in it. Light would come through it. Like it would be illuminated. That's how I understood it. Let me put it this way. A ceiling with holes in it. You know how sometimes you see a hole up high on a wall? You see the light coming through. All the lights were like that. They were connected downwards. The lights. We got to a group of person we were supposed to meet. I asked him, "What are these? What's their story?" with my eyes. I mean, I couldn't really look. But still, with my eyes, they were telling me. I said, honestly, I'm seeing something over there. All of their necks. Like, for example, one of them had his neck twisted. He was just stuck like that. He was staring. He was droning. He was groaning to God. "God, please help me." Then, with just a look, I realized that this person had committed suicide.
That twisted neck is because...
Yeah, they had put a noose around their necks.
I see.
And on this side, some other.
But there wasn't a rope there, right?
There was no rope.
But it has happened their way.
Bet.
It continued the same form.
His left.
It kept going.
The rope had left a mark on his neck. It was clearly visible. It was red right here. You could see the red mark from the rope, but there was no rope.
That last moment state continued. And he said, God help.
God, help me. He was pleading. He was pleading to God.
Wanted forgiveness.
Then the person next to me said he has neither this world nor the next world. I said, is that possible? He said, a person who died 50 or 60 years ago is still stepped like this. I saw another person, a woman, who had cut her wrist. But just imagine, it was open, but there was no blood. The flesh was split open. It was white. He showed it to me. He showed me that they had committed suicide.
Cut veins.
Cut veins, committed suicide. They were showing the scene. It was real. There really wasn't any blood.
They were showing suicide scene?
No. Just the scene where her hand was open. Who had committed suicide? Well, this world and the next, it's all the same. There were people who, for example, it was obvious they were stayed young. They had just stayed like that. They were not moving and keep moaning like that. They were tired of standing around, from standing so much. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything for themselves. They had headaches. They were confused. They were walking around, looking around. They were screaming. They were shouting.
They're stuck in that state of suicide, and that suicidal state just keeps going.
Yes. As we kept going forward, there were people whose stomachs were swollen. I asked, who are these people? He said, these are the usurers. They've picked up the sword and are fighting against God himself. He said their sins can never be forgiven. You were one of those people who never did that. These people had a really bad smell. Their whole story was completely different from the others. It was really strange and bizarre. Their faces.
Did they act or talk differently?
Their faces, their gums, lips, jaws, and teeth were all showing. Lips and jaws, eyes were sunken and red. They were really terrifying. They were snorting like animals. They wouldn't even come near you. You really didn't want to see them at all. Their moans, honestly, their moans were really disturbing. They kept moaning. Suddenly, one went into the molten lava and came out. Then another went in. Someone else went in. Then, if you looked at them, the smell of sludge would choke you. It honestly made you want to vomit. Honestly, when I saw them, I was really suffering myself. As we kept going, we saw another scene. We saw another place. There was a place. It was like a swamp. It was swamp-like. The smell was just awful. There were people there. Actually, there were women whose looks weren't really appealing. They would go into the swamp and sink down, going up, then coming down again, and the smell was terrible. You wanted to hold your nose. You really couldn't breathe. I mean, it made you feel really sick. Such a bad smell came out of those people inside. I said, God, what are these? They're mouses? What even are these things? Why do they look so weird? Why are they so awful?
What's the reason for all this?
They sinned. They committed adultery. I saw it plainly.
Cheating.
They had been unfaithful. Their hair was like, you know when someone never brushes their hair. Disheveled hair. You know those women whose hair is just a total mess? Exactly like that. Their nails were hanging off. Their eyebrows were drooping. Their hair was just completely disheveled. Their faces looked like they hadn't showered in 20 years. Just like that. Then they were full of hair. There were the women really hairy. They even had mustaches. I mean, I was like, is that really a woman? Why are they like this? Those people who were, moneylenders had red beards. Their beards, yeah, were red. Their hair was all wild and messy. And it was like the gums didn't cover the teeth, so the teeth were all exposed. Their moans. I mean, their moans had this growl, this, you know what I mean? Sorry, have you ever seen how a pig grunts?
Yes.
Yeah, did you see how the pig purrs?
Woof.
That's how they talk, too. When they spoke, they talked like that. It wasn't like how people talk.
I, saw a wild pig or boar during my military service. I saw a whole herd of them in the middle of the night.
Exactly.
I know how they sound like.
If you want, I can imitate their voices or how they talk here in front of the camera.
Go ahead.
For example, when they talked, they would growl like this. And then, just from the way they whined, the sounds they made, from the way they looked. Terrifying. Red eyes. They were honestly really scary. I was more suffering by watching them themselves when I saw the scenes. I was more tormented. So I thought to myself, am I really going to end up with them too? As I kept moving forward, they kept showing me things one by one.
Why did you think they might put you with them too?
With every scene we moved forward, my sorrow, my sadness just kept getting heavier.
You mean your feelings?
My hands and feet shook. The anxiety just got worse.
You felt it transfer to you. Their feeling.
Exactly. As I kept moving forward, it just kept getting worse. I kept feeling worse and worse. There was a moment there when I said, "Oh God. Oh God." I just called out God's name. The two who were beside me disappeared. They vanished. I just kept moving forward. I saw it was like a tunnel, like a storage room with a hole in the ceiling. Light was shining through.
Like the old bazaars.
Exactly. I kept moving forward. These lights were bothering me like that. I was looking at these lights. They were bothering me. I kept moving forward. My heart kept getting brighter. When I saw the light coming from above this tunnel, when the light shined down like that, step by step as I moved forward, my spirit kept feeling better.
So after you said God, all this happened?
Yes.
And those two left and disappeared. How did you feel? Were you upset that they left? Were you happy?
I was really happy. Look, I had gotten used to those two. Let me tell you, I had gotten used to them. They were showing me that you belong to this world, that is, you have to leave that world and come to this world. We are showing you this.
Why did it become so overwhelming? Where was the last thing you saw?
That thing with the women, when I saw that, I just couldn't. I really couldn't handle it.
The immoral women.
Yes.
It's really heavy.
Exactly. It was really heavy. Those usurers, those people, the people I was seeing. Then they showed those usurers. They showed their graves. For example, there were some usurers in graves. You really couldn't tell if it was fire inside or just a glow from the fire. It was lava. They showed their graves. The heat, that redness inside there. The molten stuff that was coming out. I could see its redness. It was moving up and down like this. Like up and down. The lava was going up and down. I could see that in their graves, but not the people themselves. The grave that was there. They showed me that scene. Then I said to myself, God, where are you? Help me, please. Just like a flash of light, I returned to my own body. Then, the moment I came back to my body, I just saw that my hands were tied and I gave my hand a little shake like this. Oh God, they want to take my heart out. My lungs, open up my kidneys. I was still in that same feeling. In that state I was in, from the sound of the beeping of the machine that was running, I realized, God, what is happening to me? I was still in my own world. I was in my own world. I saw someone came up next to me. He pulled up my mask like this. I saw red eyes, but it looked like a black mass of clothing, as if he was wearing a cloak. I could only see his eyes. I saw two eyes. Right in front of me, two red eyes. He said, "You're still young. You still have hope." It was like he held a curtain in front of me. He pulled the curtain.
Not like an actual piece of cloth over your eyes.
No. You know, like on your eyes.
Yes, a barrier that you couldn't see through. Like a piece of cloth. This barrier, like a piece of cloth. Yes, he pulled it aside. You saw him, and then what did he say?
You're still young.
Then he put it back again?
Yep.
So he pulled aside a curtain that was preventing the material eyes from seeing that immaterial being.
Well, when I pulled the curtain, I saw that he was very sad. Right at the moment he pulled the curtain, I saw that on this bed and the bed next to me, a woman and another woman were just staring. Their souls were like this, with themselves. Their souls were leaving from near the window. I saw there were two people right next to me. The one next to me got up gracefully, and they were walking away with that man. The nurse heard the alarm from my machine. They ran in. Mr. Mousavi. Mr. Mousavi. They took off my mask. I wanted to speak. I couldn't talk. I wanted to shout, to moan, but no sound would come out.
What did you want to say?
Save me, help me. What are you doing? With just a look. I could only barely make out the sound. They were saying, Mr. Mousavi has regained consciousness. He's awake. Then I saw, right here, next to me. I moved around like this, like that. I looked to the side. First I looked at my machine. I saw my machine was giving me oxygen and everything. I heard a sound, saw something. I looked and saw the person next to me was dying. His stomach was moving up and down, and then I quickly looked to the other side and saw that person was dying too. Turns out, at that moment, Azrael had already taken them.
So when they were struggling, you mean their souls were already out of their bodies?
Yeah. Their souls had already been taken. They were gone or on their way out. They were dying. Their bodies were still reacting. The bodies were dying.
These two, as they were leaving, I'm not talking about their bodies, but themselves who were going along with the angel of death. What a state they were in. Their color, their appearance, their behavior.
Just like this body. Just like how their corpse was lying on the bed, dying. They were laughing together, just like that. They would look and laugh. They left with a smile. Only their face and hands were visible. Their clothes looked just like a shroud, disheveled. Their soul looked just like a shroud. They left. After that, I couldn't fall asleep. I couldn't sleep, but I couldn't say anything either, not a single word. I just kept watching. A few moments later, I saw my father come to my bedside and look at me. I looked at him. He gave me a sense of hope. It was like he reassured me. I felt a little bit better, but I was still too scared to sleep. For 3 or 4 days, I couldn't sleep out of fear, thinking it might happen again. I wanted to leave. There was a person who used to come and take care of me. That was a lady who said, Mr. Mousavi, what did you see from the other world? What do you know? I said, honestly. Then, when new patients were brought to the beds next to mine, I would say, this one will die in 2 hours. They'd bring another. This one will die in 3 hours. It was as if I had been shown scenes. Mr. Mousavi, be quiet, she said. They can hear you. Their families will be there. They'll get upset, you know. And that's exactly what would happen. They brought in a girl 20 or 22 or 23 years old. It was shown to me as clear as day. They showed me the scene of what was going to happen to her. And all of them had lung issues because of COVID. Their lung involvement was really severe. It was like I had seen all of this ahead of time. I had seen these scenes before. Then they brought in my roommate. His leg had a hole in it because of a driller. They were injecting him with antibiotics and clear his wound. I could see that he was dying. I tried to get up, but I couldn't get up to help him. I just couldn't get up. But seeing them die, I was suffering myself. It wasn't as easy as I'm talking about it now. They were tormenting me. These scenes were torturous for me. Because they showed me this world, it was hard for me. I saw all of this. They were showing it to me. But every moment, whenever it happened, there was noise and commotion. When they injected me with needles, I had flashbacks of moments when I had overcharged people or done something wrong. I understood. I could feel it completely. It was a really terrible scene. It kept happening, and then they brought me into ward. When they brought me into a ward, it was like they opened the gates of paradise for me. I was so happy that I couldn't walk. All I wanted was to hug and kiss those old men, those 3 or 4 guys who were in my shared room. I said, God saved me from there. Those fans above my head in the ICU were driving me crazy. Imagine, I used to weigh 90 kilos and I dropped down to 50. My eyes were bulging out. I looked like a skeleton. My teeth, my jaw was sticking out and then sunken in. My eyes were bulging out. It was just a mess. And I had such a big beard, too. When they brought me a mirror and I saw myself, I was terrified of myself. I just wasn't myself anymore. If someone called me, I would start crying. If I saw someone, I came into this world out of interest. That room felt like paradise to me. The whole ward felt like heaven for me. I would go to the window and open it wide. The breeze would come in. Oh God, am I really back here again?
Just the fact that you're not there anymore.
Yeah.
In that dark and gloomy world, this place felt like paradise to you. You were so overwhelmed with joy that you kept crying.
Exactly. When I was in a coma, I saw my father behind the door reciting the Quran. He was crying. He was moaning. He was really moaning. He was crying. Then I actually saw the scene. I really saw him crying. He was reciting the Quran. He was praying for me. I looked, and then it was like, for a moment I saw him reciting the Quran. He was looking at me. He was reciting a surah. He was reciting a prayer. God, save him. God, bring him back.
My mind was so messed up and in such a bad state that, as if I was the one in a coma, the doctor found out that he had lost 85% of his lungs. We had lost hope by then, but still, I never stopped praying. I kept praying to God and the Prophet, and let me tell you, I would recite the Quran and Surat Kawthar while standing there near ICU. I don't know how he had seen me. His doctor even told us frankly. The doctor said his condition wasn't showing any improvement at all. He wasn't in good shape at all. He was unconscious and in a coma. His lungs were also badly damaged. God brought him back to us.
When my father-in-law caught COVID, he passed away because of it. When I was holding the body of that man, I would talk to myself. But I wasn't really in my own world. I said, Mr. Mehdi, I only know where you're headed right now. But I never told anyone this. I said, you're in a really good place. Go on, the next world is a good one. I came back just so my son wouldn't be alone. I would talk to my wife. When my wife set the table, I said to her, honey, come sit here next to me. Don't go, sit down. I want to talk to you. From now on, I decided to be a better person. I want to do good for everyone, to you too, especially since I've treated you so badly. Please forgive me. From now on, I'll be a good person. I'll bring you honest bread, honest earnings. My whole life, my income was tainted. But from now on, I'll bring you honest bread, and that's what happened. I gave up the shop and all of that. Now, if someone tempts me, I say, I don't want it at all. I didn't believe in the prophets or any of that, but when I went to the other world and came back, I believe in all of them. I used to say it's nonsense. I said, come on, those were from the past. What does that have to do with us? Sorry, but what does Muhammad have to do with me? Or what does Seyyed Mousavi have to do with us? Before COVID, I was doing well because all my work was shady. The money I brought home for my wife and kid wasn't really good. Either my kid was always sick or my wife was sick. That work with my own hands really made me feel bad. I wasn't making good money at the garage. It was all from stealing, but I was doing well. I was in a position where I could buy myself the latest cars in the world. For example, whenever a new car came out, I would buy it. The money came from illegal activities. When I went to the other world and came back. After that, I never allowed myself to leer at another woman. Nor did I ever try to take away someone else's rights. Nor did I bring in dirty money for my wife and kid. Honestly, my situation got really tough. Me. When I was in a coma, they sold my car. They sold our whole life. Thank God they sold it and it was gone. Basically, the life I had built disappeared just like that.
He would say the job has to be honest.
It can't go on like this. You can't cheat people.
When we went out, his whole attitude had changed. He always kept his head down and said it was a sin.
So, the way you treated the late Moini and the late Sadie, did you also overcharge others like that?
With others, yes, but not as much. I really did wrong by those too. Not so much with the others.
But did you change that behavior? You said you left the shop?
Yes, I left the shop.
Left the job?
I completely left the shop. I never went back there again. I just gave up on the shop. I said, if I go back to this line of work, my wife will get sick again. My kid will get sick again. That was where I learned that ill-gotten bread doesn't get you anywhere. Look, I had everything. The best car, the best house. But I didn't have a real life. My wife was always sick. My kid was sick. I was always arguing with them.
What was the cause of that?
It was all because of that dirty money.
Oh, so the sickness, the arguments, and the chaos at home.
Dirty money, tainted money.
You had a lot of money, but peace.
But I didn't have any peace. No peace. I had no peace at all.
Well, now that you've changed your job, now
I have peace. And I earn honest money. I can lay my head down and sleep easily. I don't hurt anyone, and I can't do that anymore.
So the tensions at home are gone?
I'm not in trouble at home anymore. I try to help anyone who's truly in need. I mean, only those who really don't have anything. It was God's kindness that brought me back to this world to see if I would really make up for what I did or not. To be honest, I've left lying and trickery behind. I've become someone I can actually see myself as now. I'm working for my afterlife with what I'm doing now. I mean, even if I see someone outside, like a coworker, I'm not going to go around telling them I helped someone because I'm investing in my own world. In this life, I'm just trying to somehow make up for the things I've done, even though it's hard to fix, but I really have to try hard. I need to seek their forgiveness. I want to somehow make it up to those I've wronged. Sometimes my heart really wants to, like, for example, my life right now is just so tough. For example, right now I'm the driver of loaned car. Back then, I had status. I was somebody. I was someone important in my own right. The best car, the best life. I want sometimes to go back to my fortunate life, but when I rethink about those injections I got at the hospital that reminded me of the scenes that comes to my mind of my trip to the other world, I give up thinking about the shop. The injections at the hospital conditioned me with those scenes about the oil change. I'd remember a different kind of pain. All of that would come rushing back to my mind. When the needle went in, my whole spine would burn. It was like they poured fire into my body with those injections. When that shot went into my vein, it felt like they brought the fire and poured it right into me. My wound.
Is it because you're worried that you have to die and go there again?
No. The pain caused by the injections and blood test seemed to me because of the bad thing I had caused to others, all the things I'd done and shown to me. I could feel it.
So they made the pain even heavier for you. And they'd say this is because of that.
It was like they were pouring burning fire into my body. I was burning.
All right. Dear Mr. Mousavi,
Thank you.
we listened to your story. We started. It began with a well. A dark well, right? And at any moment, you could have been pulled into that well.
Yeah.
And you were gently guided toward a tunnel.
Yes.
A tunnel that was relatively bright. There, you saw stories from the past and accounts from other people who had their own issues. All of this went on and on until we reached the moment when you looked up and said, "Oh God." Did I say that correctly?
Exactly.
All right. When you looked up and said, "Oh God," or "Dear God," or "God," you said a light appeared and
Yes.
freedom and release.
It was as if something truly tangible grabbed my hand. It really felt like it took my hand.
And in the end, your story went from darkness to light. We, too, have reached the morning and the light. Once again, we've reached the breath of morning. We swear by God, by the morning as it breathes. In the Quran, God says, I swear by the morning as it breathes. In the breath of morning, we want to lift our heads, look up, and say, O God, lead us safely from this half-dark, half-light state into the light.
Ameen.
We are sitting in the cages of our bodies, in this lofty cage, this high-ranking iron cage. And the thing that points toward the right path is this very tower above our heads which points to the sky.
Exactly.
It's as if it's saying, O God, bring us, the one sitting in the cage, to the light.
Exactly.
We are sitting in this half-dark cage. We put our hope in you, God, and let us be born in the light.
Exactly.
God willing, may our birth, our next birth, be in the light.
Hopefully.
Mr. Seyyed.
God willing.
And God willing, may we also hear the good news of your making amends and seeking forgiveness.
God willing.
May that news reach us too. Thank you for showing up to the meeting. I'd like to ask if we can set up another meeting for another visit.
Yes.
Let's try. The next meeting, God willing.
God willing.
Let's be somewhere where, from all 6 directions and from every side, there is only light. Where there is no witnessing the pain and suffering of others. Where there is no witnessing our own pain and shame. Let's not walk with our heads down, but with our heads held high, facing God, God willing. You should also try so that we can reach such a beautiful meeting, and until then, we are truly restless for the time of that meeting with you.